Okay, it's been a few days now since I saw Rise of Skywalker, a movie that I gave a 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. Disney Lucasfilm, they told us that this movie would conclude the Skywalker Saga. It's going to bring all 9 movies into one. Did they accomplish that? Where do they go from here? Has this movie and this trilogy done more damage than it has good? There's a lot to take in, a lot of questions to be asked, a lot of questions that need answers. And there were many things about this film, so many plot holes and devices, so many things that I know that we're never going to get answered again. But however, we got what we got. So where does Star Wars go from here? What damage has been done? Can it be rectified in the future? Let's kind of talk a little bit about some of this. Disney, I think they have accomplished their goal with this movie. I think that they are very, very happy with the results of this movie. Now, I do believe that they knew when they put out this movie, they were going to alienate some of the people and the critics and the fans that like The Last Jedi. It's pretty obvious because JJ was throwing haymakers in this movie at The Last Jedi. He was. He needed to retcon that movie 100%. And he did that. He did that. And you can tell by the Rotten Tomatoes score for the critics that he accomplished that. Because I think a lot of those people that like The Last Jedi, they hated this movie. No doubt about it, because those same people, they gave Last Jedi 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I think as of right now, Rise of Skywalker is sitting like at a 57%. It's not doing good. It's not doing good at all on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, the audience score is a bit different. It was, last time I checked, it was like 88% or something like that. Because I think that Disney finally made the Star Wars movie they wanted to make. They wanted to be done with the OT. They never wanted anything to do with the prequels at all. And that's pretty evident in this movie. So when they say that they were bringing all 9 movies into one, not even close. They didn't really touch on anything in this movie with the prequels. They just didn't. The OT, of course, Palpatine is an OT character, even though he was in the prequels as well. What they wanted to do, guys, with this movie, and what they've really been doing with this sequel trilogy, they want to rewrite Star Wars history. And mission accomplished, Disney, you did that. You absolutely did that 100%. Now, I don't know if I'm really going to dive into any spoilers in this video, but just in case, you haven't seen the movie yet, it's possible spoilers will come up. But this video is really more about the overall bigger picture and the damage that this movie has done, the damage that this sequel trilogy as a whole has done. This movie not only retcons The Last Jedi, and it was obvious, they even brought up the holdover maneuver in the movie. Luke talking about a Jedi's weapon should be treated with more respect, which was a big FU to Rian Johnson. Man, the whole scene on I-2 was a bit slap in the face to Rian Johnson. JJ was not holding back any punches on that. But JJ Abrams, I don't know if he knows this or not, but he also damaged the entire Star Wars lore with this movie. He undercut everything that George Lucas had built up through episodes 1 through 6. He did. Because the ending of this movie takes the end of episode 6 and just spits it out on the floor. Anakin's sacrifice is all for nothing. And I guess I should have saw that coming with the all-powerful Rey, that she was the last hope, not Anakin. You know, very similar to what they did with John Connor in Terminator Dark Fate. John Connor is supposed to be mankind's last hope. No, he wasn't. They changed it. They replaced him with a young girl. Same thing here in Rise of Skywalker. Did they listen to the fans? Overall, I don't think so. I think that J.J. Abrams and company, they were trying to please too many people in one movie without enough time, as they were trying to retcon the previous movie. And you're going to fall on your face like that. Like I said in the beginning, this movie in the first hour was all over the place. All over the place. But my biggest problems weren't necessarily with the first hour of the movie. It was really about the last 30 minutes of the movie. Undercutting Return of the Jedi. Destroying the Chosen One. Now, they didn't say in this movie, they never brought up the Chosen One at all in this movie, because I think that would have been even more backlash if they referred to Rey as the Chosen One. They didn't need to do it. Now, normies, they don't know this stuff. Normies that went and saw this movie, they probably never saw episodes 1 through 3. They probably can care less about the OT as well. These are people that just go to the movies casually, you know? I'm bored on a Saturday night. Let me go see this movie. Okay. Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. All right, let me go check it out. And they can care less. Rey defeats the Emperor. They don't really care. But to the hardcore Star Wars fan, these things matter. She was not supposed to defeat the Emperor. The Emperor was supposed to be defeated by Anakin. George Lucas said it himself. Anakin is the Chosen One. He destroyed the Sith. But Disney just said, you know what? We're fresh out of villains for this movie because Rian Johnson killed off Supreme Leader Snoke. Kylo Ren has never truly been a villain. We need to bring back someone to get some butts and seats. So they dug up Palpatine. And one of the biggest failures of this movie, J.J. Abrams, Lucasfilm, I don't know what you guys were thinking. They give no explanation as to how Palpatine came back. The only thing Palpatine says in the movie was, I died once. Well, how did you come back? Oh, Disney and their greedy hands, they want you to buy the book to episode 9. I think it's going to come out in March. And it's going to answer all of the important questions about this movie, because they're too lazy to actually answer these questions in this movie. You're telling us all 9 movies are going to be put into one, and you failed to give us an explanation as to how Palpatine comes back. Another big thing is the Force powers does a lot of damage to the OT and the prequels. Everything, you know, Force healing especially. Force healing completely puts a bunch of plot leads into episode 1 through 6. Now, normies don't care about this, and maybe a bunch of normies actually made this movie. But if Force healing is a real thing, if you can just heal someone by using the Force, why didn't the Chosen One Anakin do it to heal his mother of her wounds in Attack of the Clones? Why didn't that happen? Why did Padme have to die in episode 3? Obi-Wan was right there. He could have just used the Force to heal her, bring her back to life. But even if he didn't, even if Anakin still lost all his limbs and he got put in the Vader suit, couldn't he just very, very well easily taken someone's life force and grow back his limbs the way Palpatine did in this movie? You see, there's so much more damage that has been done. But I guess that Disney and Lucasfilm, they weren't paying attention to the little details. I said it in the live stream. I think I even said it in my review. The Force now has become a joke. There's no limits to the Force. None. If there's no limits to the Force, there can be really no true conflict, you know? Everyone wants power. Everyone wants power. You can do anything that you want with the Force. It doesn't make any sense to me. And here's another thing also. Rey hijacking the Skywalker name. I know I said that I wasn't going to talk about any spoilers really, but I have to. There is a possibility that there could be an episode 10, 11, 12. We know that Kathleen Kennedy said that there would be no more trilogies. Bob Iger said that's not the case. So it's very well possible that there could be an episode 10, 11, 12. And think of this. They'll probably end up making it another quote unquote Skywalker Saga. But how can that be possible considering all of the Skywalkers actually dead? They're all dead. But the thing is, we saw Rey just take the Skywalker name. Everything is given to her. That's why she's such a terrible character. Maybe she'll name her offspring Skywalker. They're going to end up taking that name because she doesn't want to be a Palpatine. She doesn't want to be associated with that name at all. So you actually may have more Skywalker movies, but the kids in that movie won't actually be true Skywalkers. They end up being Palpatines. And in the end of Rise of Skywalker, to me, Palpatine wins. He does. The Skywalkers, they lose. There are no more of them. And now you have a Palpatine with the Skywalker name. Palpatine wins. George Lucas cannot be happy about this. I'm willing to bet he is furious about this movie. Well, he's been furious about this whole entire trilogy as a whole. Everything has been destroyed. The Force has no limits. The Skywalker name has been tarnished big time by Disney. Big time. They don't care about the lore. They don't care about the history of Star Wars. They want to rewrite history themselves. That's why you're getting, Force healing, bringing back the dead through the Force, that kind of thing. And think of this. Even in their new canon, Darth Vader is looking for a way to bring Padme back to life in the comic books. Why is it that he just couldn't use his life force to bring her back to life? He could have just easily did that. I mean, Kylo Ren, he didn't have any trouble doing it. Not at all. Well, you may say, well, Kylo Ren died in the process of doing it. So, the ODing on the Force, I guess that's still a real thing because it was kind of ambiguous as to how Leia actually died. I think she was trying to connect through to Kylo Ren, Ben Solo through the Force, and then she dies. She OD'd on the Force. So Kylo Ren putting his life force in Rey, caused him to OD on the Force too. We already know that Luke did it also. So technically, now that I'm thinking about it, 3 Skywalkers used the Force and they all died. It's ridiculous. I don't think that using the Force should kill you. Should it make you tired? Yeah, I agree with that. We even saw that in the OT, Empire Strikes Back. Luke is trying to lift rocks. He's sweating. He's out of breath. But for a Force user to actually die using the Force is comical. Comical. I really don't know what else to say about this. The future of Star Wars is grim. Now, is there some good stuff that's going to interest me coming out, like Obi-Wan Kenobi? Yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to be very interesting, considering that Deborah Chow is directing all eight episodes. But I am concerned about Disney-fying Obi-Wan Kenobi. They've already done it to an extent to Mandalorian. I like Mandalorian, but it still has some questionable things in it. For me, it's nowhere near on the level of Clone Wars. It's not. I know my boy Rose Rants, he loves Mandalorian. I like it too. It ain't on Clone Wars level. Not at all. So I wish, in the big picture overall, I really wish that Lucas would have never sold his company. I would have been so happy if Clone Wars just could have continued under his watch. But if he just said, you know what, I am going to stop the company. There's going to be no more Star Wars. I'm not going to sell it. Because basically him selling to Disney was like a great chef selling his restaurant and franchising it. You can't control the food product that comes out to the customers. If you have a restaurant here in Houston versus one in New York, the quality control is going to be a hard thing to monitor. So I wish that he never sold the company at all. Revenge of the Sith was a great way to go out from a movie standpoint. This movie, retconning everything about the OT and the prequels, is disrespectful. It doesn't honor any kind of legacy at all. Not at all. When Kathleen Kennedy was put in charge of Lucasfilm by George Lucas himself, and she has done nothing right to honor him or the characters. Now I wonder what Lucas is actually thinking to himself about appointing Kathleen Kennedy as president. I really don't have any idea. But I'm pretty sure he has a lot of regrets. I'm pretty sure that him and Bob Iger probably don't have much of a friendship, I would say. Because George still to this day feels like he was betrayed. I agree 100%. He was betrayed. Bob Iger doesn't care about Star Wars. He doesn't. He wanted to buy Star Wars just to make money off of Lucas. That's it. And it's kind of failing him when it comes to these new characters because Rise of Skywalker stuff is already on clearance. Nobody cares about them. Nobody cares. Well, that's pretty much all I have. Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, the Disney sequel trilogy. Do you guys think it's done more damage than it has done good? I don't really think anything good is going to come out of this. The only thing that's going to happen is you're going to get more stuff in the future that will get further and further and further away from what Star Wars was and what it was meant to be. Disney is going to Disneyfy Star Wars completely, and there's nothing we can do about it. Nothing that George Lucas can do about it. Unless he bought it back or something, but that's not going to happen. But that's just my thoughts on this. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. If you're new here to the channel, please hit subscribe to catch future videos from me, and we will catch you on the next video. John Matrixx, out.